Welcome everybody to latest showcase of the new major SCAR update. In this update we are introducing new things which of course without our special friend from Woolen Workshop, Arrow No Access, this wouldn't be possible, so shout out to him really for lending us the files so we could expand his build and add more gameplay stuff. So yeah, big thanks to him. Now let's dive right into it. So the first thing to talk about is introduction of the game menu. So first you go to options, mods, combat, in my case SCAR, and there we go, SCAR menu. Now you saw that my menu is a bit different, but that's because I'm using the fantastic community patch strings mod, and I definitely recommend this mod to people who are having many menu entries like me, because there is a limit. When you have more than 9 mods with menus, some of them won't be properly displayed and similar, or if you click on the mod which is all the way to the bottom, it won't do anything. Also, don't let this distract you. You're gonna have SCAR name like showed on this picture, but since I'm using the community strings mod, I have this as the side effect. Also make sure to read the detailed description and also check comment section as well, because you will find some of the answers you might need when it comes to community patch menu strings mod if you decide to use it. Also I'm gonna link this mod down below into the description. Now let's get back to SCAR. Now when you enter the SCAR menu you will have different options to pick. All the categories which were previously divided into 4 main files, you can find them and switch from this menu and select the category you want, which is fantastic addition really. I'm really excited for this. We have one new addition which is Vanilla. So the categories you can choose are Vanilla, Combined Forces, Intense, Revolve, and of course Technical. I'm gonna explain every category and every menu option. So first let's start talking about the categories. So the first category I'm gonna explain to you of course is the most played category and most downloaded category on Nexus, Combined Forces. Now in this category not many things have changed and it is similar to Vanilla category. It still contains the same dodges, just with added thing which is RP and LP dodges, so you will feel even more smoother combat when you're close to enemy. As you can see, Combined Forces didn't change, it's pretty much the same. Also rolls are there, they're a bit slower now. So yeah, in terms of the dodges it's the same, just they have that new addition RP, LP, which will make combat more smoother in general. Now let's move on to the next category. Next category is gonna be Intense. So Intense category is without rolls for people who prefer that, just it looks more aggressive than the other categories. Similar to E3 presentation, because it contains those forward and backward dodges which are seen in the E3 presentation. New addition as well in Intense are those RP and LP dodges and a little bit reworked pirouette dodge and overall smoother experience in combat. Let's take a look at the Intense. Forward dodges first. Now the backward. As you can see, it looks really aggressive and completely different than the others. Instead of rolls, you're gonna have long pirouette, as well as backward pirouette. So this is the Intense. I hope you will like the change. Now let's move on to the next category. Next category we're gonna talk about is Revolve. Of course this category brings you fully pirouette dodges for people who prefer that. I keep forgetting that we added the changes to the categories, so we added 1 or 2 dodges in some categories. Let's do the forward dodges now in Revolve. Let's do the backward now. Let's do the forward on spacebar. Backward on spacebar. As you can see, there is a new backward pirouette dodge. We kinda refresh a little bit things in some categories, so yeah. That's it for the Revolve. Let's move on to the final category, which is gonna be the Technical. So the next category and the last one is gonna be the Technical. After the Intense, this is one of my favorite categories. At least me, I like playing with Technical. Some of the people were asking which category is similar to Vanilla but better, while people were saying along with me it's the Technical. Of course, Technical is changed a bit. Let's try the forward dodges now. Backward now. Let's try the forward from the left position. Backward from the left. Again forward. Rolls. Forward from the left position and backward. As you can see, backward and forward dodges are a bit more elegant. They are reworked in Autodesk software Maya thanks to my colleague Ryan Hank. He did a really amazing job with reworking these dodges. So yeah, that's it for the categories. The next section of the video is gonna be explanation of the menu and what new options and sliders do and what they change if you want long dodges, combat idle, and of course combat movement, which you're familiar with from the previous main files. But yeah, I'm gonna explain because you can combine these now together. So yeah, let's move on to that now. Let's move on to the first option in the menu, which is gonna be the taunts. Previously in SCAR you had taunts and sword plays when you were idle in combat. Now you need to press the control key to trigger the taunt. So I hold the control key on the keyboard and you're gonna trigger the taunt, okay?
Any last words?
Come on, come closer.
Also, you can do that as well by moving the Geralt around, you
How
know,
long you gonna
strafing.
make me
Come
wait?
on.
You see? I hold the control
What?
key to
Lost
trigger
your
the
nerve?
taunt.
Too late to surrender.
As you heard as well, Geralt says some dirty words to his opponent. Yes, we added that as well. If you don't want to hear Geralt saying bad words to his enemy, you can turn it off from the menu. Simple as that. Also, the taunts you see right now, they're gonna be updated in the future. They are pretty much work in progress. So yeah, stay tuned for that.
You'll never learn. Well, come on.
Let's move on to the next slider. Now I'm gonna explain what these sliders do. Combat movement, combat idle and long dodges. So let's pick combined forces first as an example, because why not? Let's pick that category. I'm not gonna go through intense, revolve and technical again, because what I'm gonna do now for combined forces, you can of course do for other categories as well and combine these to your likings. That's why I won't go through other categories and repeat what I did now for combined forces. So, combat movement, if you remember from the older SCAR release, you had 3 folders to pick. Version 1, version 2 and version 3, which is changing the combat movement only. Of course, version 1 is one-handed movement with the sword, version 2 is semi-two-handed, so when you move only backward, you will hold the sword with the both hands, and version 3 was almost fully two-handed. People who already use SCAR from the very first release, they know what those versions 1, 2 and 3 do. But of course, they are always newcomers when it comes to mods, so they're gonna keep asking themselves what these versions mean. So I'm gonna explain now more deeply in the video what they change. Version 1 is fully one-handed movement in combat. So forward movement, left and right, so as backward. Now let's just switch to version 2. So version 2 is while you move forward you will have one-handed movement. You see? But when you move backward, Geralt is gonna hold the sword with both hands. So that's what version 2 does. Let's try again. And backward. Let's switch now to version 3. Version 3 is fully two-handed, meaning Geralt is gonna hold the sword with both hands. When you move forward, forward right, forward left, backward, backward right and backward left. He's gonna hold his sword with both hands. So that's the difference between version 1, version 2 and version 3. Now let's move to the next slider, which is gonna be the combat idle. Now we're gonna talk about the combat idle and what this slider do. So what these options do is change the Geralt's combat idle when you stop. Let's take a look. As you can see, I'm moving forward now and backward, and when I decide to stop, Geralt is gonna enter this idle position. Combat idle will change, depends on which position you are, okay, and which option you use. For best experience, combine combat movement with combat idle. Set combat idle to two-handed and change combat movement to version 3. When you set combat movement to version 3, then you know Geralt is gonna hold the sword with both hands while approaching the enemy, and when you move backward. Now when you move backward and when you stop, it's really gonna be in synergy with the combat idle two-handed stop, as you can see. And then if you decide to trigger the taunt as well by holding the control key on a keyboard, Geralt will perform this two-handed taunt animation and everything is gonna be blended together perfectly, which is fantastic really.
Not your lucky day.
Let's try now everything together again. Entering the combat title, triggering the taunt.
Shut up and fight.
Really amazing. So that's it for the combat idols. Let's talk about the last slider, which is long dodges. The long dodges slider is a friendly option which will give a new long dodges to all categories, but only if you want to. For example, if you like combined forces or technical, but instead of rolls you want dodges which covers the roll distance, this option will provide that. Or if instead of pirouettes in revolve on spacebar you want rolls, this long dodges option will be your friendly slider for that. So let's for example pick technical. Now long dodge is gonna be technical, which is gonna be default technical version as you can see. But now when I switch long dodges option to revolve, for example, you will have pirouettes on the spacebar for the technical category, and that's what this option do. Really, my colleague did an amazing job with these long dodges because he revoked them in Maya, and really it's amazing to have this option for the gameplay. Now, let's test. Technical, this is technical forward, technical backward dodges. And now on spacebar you will see the dodges. Instead of rolls, you will have the dodges from the revolve actually, in the technical version. Really amazing to have this for the gameplay. We're really close to end of this showcase, and I almost forgot to show you this amazing feature we have in Scar. You also have side dodges as well, for all categories, but only if you want to. To trigger these side dodges, hold the mouse button 5 and hold Alt plus A for the left or Alt plus D for the right, and you will perform these side dodges which can be really useful in the combat. You can also use them as the secondary forward dodges. You will also notice these new side steps which will trigger when you're close to enemy. This is really amazing add-ons for the gameplay and gives you so many variety when it comes to dodging. Now lastly I'm gonna show you fast some vanilla fixes that we implemented into Scar. So the first fix is the vanilla Earden sound, which you couldn't hear properly before. It only happens when you're idle with a sword. Second fix is the vanilla strafe stop issue. When Geralt stops, you can see how he's not holding the sword and sword is basically floating in the air when it comes to vanilla animation. So pay attention to his right arm. You can see now how his sword is floating in the air. That's the vanilla issue. That's fixed in Scar right now in this major update, and he will hold the sword when he do this strafe stop, as you can see. So these are the fixes, and if I forgot to mention something, it will be added in changelog on the Nexus page. So we are at the end of the video. So this was Deeper Scar showcase video which people wanted a long time ago. The differences between the categories and now the sliders. I do know that you will enjoy this new update. We have some plans for Scar for the future as well. New animations that I and my friend worked on, but that's gonna be far future because we are working on something else at the moment and we are busy with other things, so it might take time. Anyways, that's it for this video. Support if you like. And yeah, I'm gonna let the video end with new animations that we implemented into Scar. Enjoy and good luck on the path.
Is summoned from the north.
creature can use tools means it's sapient, or just plain clever.